Stay tuned until the end of this episode of Speedrun to find out the final winner of our Ubisoft Canada-powered Immortals Phoenix Rising giveaway, and also find out what type of giveaway we have planned next. Hello and welcome to Speedrun, the fast-talking video game podcast, where today we are ripping off Metal Jesus and talking about hidden gems. I, of course, am Jamie, and joining me again this week is Eviscerator Mark II. How you doing, my dude?
I am doing good. I am doing excellent. I don't know what I'm doing.
Doing good is doing good. So,
yes.
What do I mean by hidden gems? Well, we're talking about modern hidden gems. Games from modern platforms that we think are hidden gems. So think of this like part 3 to our indie games you need to play episodes, except these aren't necessarily indies. They're just games that aren't big budget releases or even indie games that are massively popular. More, I guess, would be not necessarily obscure, but titles that aren't necessarily as widely publicized. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So I'm going to start a timer for 5 minutes. Would you like to start off?
Sure. There's like hundreds of games I could go off about. I play a lot of these on a mostly daily basis. Let's look at what I've recently played on my Xbox. Last use.
Yeah.
Let's see if something interesting. Oh yeah, there's a game I got in my from a PR company recently called An Airport for Aliens, currently run by dogs. And it's exactly as described. Though probably what you didn't expect was that all the dogs are PNGs taken off the internet and everything kind of just looks poorly made. But it is written so...
I love that.
Yeah, it's written so beautifully, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's good fun. It's slow, it's good fun. I haven't been able to fully appreciate it because it's hot as hell. Now that I have an air conditioner, I can probably fully appreciate this. But yeah, it's a Xbox Series X and PC game about walking around an airport, talking to dogs and petting them.
Sounds like my type of game.
Yeah, and there's sometimes
Dog.png.
Yeah. It's like what was there's even I found one in my playthrough called David Boney.
The David Boney?
Yeah.
Wait, so what's that one on?
It's the Xbox Series X and PC.
No, but I mean, like, what's that one about?
Oh, which what? No, I'm talking about the same game.
The same game.
Yeah, David Boney is the dog in the game.
Oh, I thought that was a different game you were talking about called David Boney.
No. If I were talking about another game, it'd probably be Sayonara Wild Hearts, which is a let me remember this off the top of my head. It's a music video game. It's literally it's an hour-long game where you are trying to. It's also LGBTQIA plus friendly. So, and it's narrated by Queen Latifah. You're trying to mend your broken heart by fighting, I don't exactly know what. And I won't spoil the rest of it because it's something you kind of need to experience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a beautiful game with beautiful music, and I had recently had my homeowner's son play through it, and he just sat there and played through start to end.
And so I take it each run is different?
No, each run will be the same, but it's very much score attacks, and you're trying to get the best score.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, there's bronze, silver, gold, and after you get all the golds, then there's a platinum rank unlocked. And then there's also a bunch of side modes. So, perfectionism. It might be an hour long, but there's hours of content.
That sounds really awesome. It sounds really charming.
Yeah, it's I don't know, charming, but it's definitely a beautiful game. That could make you cry.
I mean, that's charming. That's definitely, an emotional experience, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a minute and 30 left. Any other games you'd like to mention?
I am looking for a list. Give me like
Of course.
trying to say. While not small games, both of these didn't exactly sell well. Binary Domain, and Renegade Ops. Binary Domain was by
Ops.
Renegade Ops was a game published by Sega, made by the team who made Just Cause. To my knowledge, it sold like 20,000 units, but it was a lot of fun. It was a fun top-down thing where things exploded. It was just very fun. And then Binary Domain is a third-person shooter by the team behind Yakuza, and it's honestly like my third favorite third-person shooter of all time. It's kind of a middle ground between Vanquish and Gears of War, where it's a lot slower, but everything is very Vanquish-esque in its story. If you know anything about Vanquish, it's a game by Platinum Games, which could also be on this because it's another kind of unknown. Which essentially Vanquish is a third-person shooter where you have a jet engine strapped to your back and you're sliding across the battlefield shooting things. It is absurd and it is amazing. Let's see, what else? Could I find something else in like 5 seconds?
I mean, you literally have 5 seconds.
No, then, obviously. I mean, the most recent Need for Speed Heat is right. No microtransactions. And just definitely deserves more love.
Not a small one.
It's not small, but it's not small, but it did go under the radar.
I definitely think that's fair.
Oh, One Finger Death Punch 2. I could have talked about that. Just satisfying bliss. That's how I describe that.
A satisfying twist.
Bliss. Bliss.
Bliss.
Yeah, you just feel in the mode as you press 2 buttons and punch thousands of stickmen. By the time you're done, you'd have killed 1 million people and hours have passed. And your thumb is probably fallen off.
Interesting.
Or your index and middle fingers if you're playing on a PC with a mouse keyboard. Yeah, One Finger Death Punch 2. It's like one of my favorites.
One Finger Death Punch 2. I'm Googling that real quick.
Yeah, it's made by someone who used to make a lot of shovelware for the Xbox Live indie game scene. They're like infamous as one of the worst Xbox Live indie game developers, but they use the money they made from their garbage to make two of the best games of all time.
This looks really charming.
It's just a huge blast. And I've realized
it kind of gives me some old school Newgrounds vibe with like the stick characters.
Yeah, that might be what they were going for. I don't know. You could probably talk to the devs about that. They aren't exactly the hardest to reach.
Now, should I go off on some of the titles I've been playing that I think are some modern hidden gems? Because I have 2 in mind.
Sure.
So starting the second timer. Thanks to NIS America, I recently got a copy of R-Type Final 2, a game I didn't even realize was coming out until they mentioned it. I haven't seen a lot of other folks talking about it. I did a stream of it over on the Jamie Play Stuff Twitch channel. What a charming, fantastic shoot 'em up. It's R-Type. It's hard as hell, but you can fully customize your ship. You have such a level of control over that customization. There's a variety of ships to unlock. The music is fantastic. And the game itself looks pretty damn good for the Switch. Like, you can tell at times it was a budget title, but like the actual like main cutscenes and stuff, fantastic. And the game plays wonderfully. That's awesome. Such a good... Oh, absolutely. Have you played much R-Type?
No, I honestly am not familiar with the series at all. It's definitely something I want to try out.
Yeah, it's an old school... Yeah, it's an old school shoot 'em up series, but the main thing is, you know how in Gradius you have options that are like side ships? So in R-Type...
that either.
So the options are basically like a side ship that comes and flies along you, basically be like a second blast, right? So R-Type, instead, you get this big shield, and I forget what it's called, but you can rotate it around you and even throw it out like a weapon. And if you shoot through it, it powers up your shots. And you can also shoot in front of and behind you. So it's such a cool level of, just of control, really. Like, the game's hard, but if every time you die, it feels like it's your own fault and not the game's fault, which is good because the game will kick your ass.
Always good. The game isn't kicking your ass. Is it a video game? Yes, it is.
Well, I was going to say, because on the other end of the spectrum, we have probably one of the most accessible shoot 'em ups I've ever played. And this was recommended me by my good buddy G Next Level. And that is Sisters Royale on PC. It was like a $10 game plus $5 for DLC. I paid $15 for it.
Cool.
I don't know if it was on sale or not. But it's a game where basically these 5 witchy sisters plus random secret DLC girl, they all have a crush on the same guy, so they just decide that they're going to fight each other for it. And the whole thing reminds me of Toho, but not nearly as like difficult as Toho. It's really, really charming. Another one I played on stream. I really like Sisters Royale.
Cool.
All 6 characters play differently and have different types of shots. It's a very simple shooter, especially compared to, say, R-Type.
Yeah.
But, like, I still really enjoyed it, you know?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's only 12 reviews on Steam, so it's definitely an unknown.
Yeah, but it's got, like, a physical and stuff, apparently, so, you know.
It's also on Switch.
It's also on Switch. There we go.
500 megabytes and costs you $13.99.
$13.99. Wow, I still have a minute and a half left. I wasn't expecting to get through those so quickly. What else do I have on my Switch? I've been playing Mini Trains, which is a really great little puzzle game. Oh, here's a big one that I also played on stream. It's so charming. It's an overhead game, kind of Zelda-esque. I want to get the devs on the show someday, and I definitely am going to be reaching out. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
I've seen that in Gmail. Did that accept my request? Probably not.
Turnip Boy is one of the most charming little games I've ever played. It has such a great sense of humor, and though it has kind of a dark twist towards the end, the game never forgets, you know, it's a dark twist, but the game never forgets that, yeah, it's a really funny, you know, even a little memey at times. Like, the game straight up just has a JoJo reference an hour into it, which is my type of game, you know?
Yeah, I'd expect no less from a game called Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I'm expecting there to be a Yoshi somewhere, too.
Yeah, there's... I mean, you know, they make jokes about anime girls and stuff, but, like, it's all really charming and well done. And a very cute game. But that said, what's more important than anything else is that it just plays really well. Honestly, highly, highly recommended. And that one, by the way, was also one recommended by someone close to me. Turnip Boy was recommended to me by my wonderful fiance, Xander.
Aww.
So, yeah, looking forward to marrying them soon. I've mentioned that in both the past 2 episodes. Maybe we'll play Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion together on our honeymoon. After our wedding, which I'm assuming at this point will be officiated by John St. John.
If it isn't officiated by John St. John, is it actually a wedding?
I mean, I'm sure we... I don't know. Does Stephen Colbert still do weddings? I don't know. I'm not huge on his recent stuff. I missed a Colbert Report.
I don't know. I just know about the whole minister thing, and I don't even know if he still does that. Probably does. Who knows?
He may. But anyways, Evis, where can people find you on the internet?
I am on twitch.tv/eviscerator_MK2. That is EVISCERATOR_MK2. I'm also the same name everywhere because, you know, global branding is important. If I'm on a platform, I am probably Eviscerator Mark II with either an underscore or no underscore, depending on what the platform allows.
What? Consistency on the internet? What is this?
It's like I'm a content creator or something.
I know, right? Speaking of content creation, hey you, yeah you, do you want to start a podcast of your own? Please do. I'm always down for new gaming podcasts. When, by the way, you can recommend new podcasts for me to listen to, or even give ideas for future speedrun episodes by emailing me at jamie@stuffweplay.com, or my co-host Jazzy, who, again, since we record back to back, she is also still out with car trouble right now, at jazzy@stuffweplay.com. But if you would like to start a podcast of your own and not only get paid hosting, but use a service that will put your podcast out simultaneously on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, then check out Podbean. They have their own app as well. And if you listen to Speedrun via the Podbean app, you can even comment on every episode. If you would like to get paid hosting for your own podcast or even migrate over from a different service, then definitely go to podbean.com/speedrun or use the code speedrun at checkout. In addition, though she is not here today, check out my co-host Jazzy. She is part of
Cleveland Audio Mixology.
And she does a great editing job. She edits all this stuff, makes your podcast and your audio sound all nice and crispy. Finally, Speedrun is part of Stuff We Play. Get early content and podcast episodes a week early by subscribing at as low as $1 a month via Patreon at patreon.com/stuffweplay. So on that note, once again, I've been Jamie.
And I've been Evis, and if you don't do all of these things, I will put you in the timeout corner.
If you heard him. If you don't back me on Patreon, we will turn this car around and we will not be going to McDonald's.
Exactly.
Kids, stop fighting, kids. I hear you in the comments. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, or listening rather. Stay classy, and I'll see you next time.
Bye!
Hello, and welcome to the final one of our Immortals Fenyx Rising Ubisoft Canada powered giveaway and slate segments. Woo! 5 weeks of this, and last week, the question that you had to answer, if you want to enter, and email me your response to at jamie@stuffweplay.com was, what was your favorite video game or video game console from a piece of fiction? You know, like the Game Sphere from Drake and Josh, or Lee Carvalho's putting challenge from The Simpsons. And for the first time, we've had an entry that won, but that I'm not going to be able to read in full. This is from Erica, the fantastic Miss Erica, who's been supporting us a ton lately on various outlets. She is such a sweet person. She sent us an entire essay on this. An entire essay that, granted, she said that, you know, she'd originally just made some changes to something short she wrote once in college, if I remember right. But it's so fascinating, so well done that, with credit, I've actually put what she has sent me into a Google Docs file, which you can access in the description of this podcast on Podbean and Apple Podcasts and whatnot. So here's the gist of it. My favorite console from fiction is the Oasis console from Ready Player One. The Oasis console represents what might be called the final frontier of media, not just of games, but of all methods of produced human meaning and experience transmitting objects. Jean Baudrillard wrote a seminal work titled Simulacra and Simulation, which, while never intended to address virtual reality technology directly, as even VHS was relatively new during its writing, has had its interpretation applied to various depictions of virtual reality, such as Infinite Jest, The Matrix, and others. They then jokingly say, in this essay, I'll argue that it can be used to inform VR games and their depictions in other works, particularly in regards to the Oasis from Ready Player One, which I just think is so cool. You'll have to read it. It's super good. Erica is just so... You ever meet someone and you're like, holy crap, you are so talented. Like, goodness, they really... Like, this is a big compliment coming to me. I think they have what it would take to be a really good video essay YouTuber. And I mean that, like, really up there are some of the best. So enjoy Immortals. And speaking of YouTube, Speedrun is part of Stuff We Play, and the Stuff We Play YouTube channel. After No, I've really been going hard again. It's been so nice having my fiance and as well as Jazzy helping me with that, and really not just helping me, but really inflecting their personalities into it as well as mine. We've hit 20,000 subscribers, and I have a big video coming soon. It's on the Ouya. It's sponsored by Epic Games and more. Yes, they are sponsoring me. They are simping me, and it's going to have Gilbert Gottfried in it, which I hope lets you know just how chaotic it is going to be when it releases in a few weeks. It's yeah, I'm going to look real good in it as well, because I'm going to get, it's going to be right after I have a short vacation. But basically, I have another giveaway happening this month, and it's via that video, because EGM has given us the stuff to do an Ouya themed giveaway. So stay tuned to the Stuff We Play YouTube channel, youtube.com/stuffweplay. And of course, follow us on Twitter. You can, I'll post about that both on the Stuff We Play Twitter, @StuffWePlay, and the Speedrun Twitter, @PodcastSpeedrun. So on that note, thank you very much for listening these past 5 weeks. Ubisoft Canada, thank you for making this possible. This has been awesome. Stay classy, and I'll see you next time.